The massive Galactic Empire scout ship emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. Its golden hull gleamed in the distant sunlight as it moved past Neptune's orbit. The crew aboard had performed this routine thousands of times before. Find a new civilization, assess their threat level, and add them to the Empire's ever-growing list of conquered worlds. But Earth was different. Long before the Empire's ship crossed Jupiter's orbit, Earth's deep space monitoring stations had already detected their arrival. Inside the Orbital Defense Command Center, Admiral James Miller stood with his hands clasped behind his back, watching the massive holographic display of the solar system. "They're following a direct course to Earth, sir," reported Lieutenant Tom Reed from his station. "Their speed suggests advanced propulsion technology." Miller nodded, his weathered face revealing no emotion. At 60 years old, he had spent his entire career preparing for this moment. Humanity had known first contact was inevitable. They just didn't know when. "Launch our stealth observation drones," Miller ordered. "Let's see what we're dealing with before they know we've spotted them." Within minutes, Earth's invisible drones surrounded the Empire's ship, gathering data on its weapons, shields, and communication systems. The Empire remained completely unaware of the surveillance, believing they had found another primitive civilization. Aboard the Empire vessel, Lord Dax stood on his command bridge, his tall frame draped in ceremonial robes of deep purple. His species had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years, and this was just another routine expansion mission. "My lord," called out his sensor officer, "we're detecting artificial satellites around the third planet. They appear to be using primitive radio communications." Dax smiled. "Another young species. Prepare the standard first contact package. We'll give them the honor of joining our glorious empire." The Empire ship continued its approach, passing Mars without detecting the hidden military bases on its surface, or the automated defense platforms scattered throughout the asteroid belt. Their arrogance was their weakness. They never bothered to look for what they assumed couldn't exist. When the Empire ship reached Earth's orbit, they were surprised to find themselves surrounded by a fleet of sleek human warships that seemed to appear from nowhere. The ships had been hiding behind a sophisticated cloaking system, another technology the Empire had assumed was beyond human capabilities. "My lord," the sensor officer shouted in alarm. "Multiple vessels detected. They just appeared." Dax rushed to the viewing window, his confidence shaken for the first time. The human ships were smaller than his vessel, but their design was elegant and clearly advanced. This was not the primitive civilization they had expected to find. Admiral Miller's voice came through on all frequencies. "This is Admiral James Miller of the Earth Defense Fleet. We've been monitoring your approach across our solar system. We welcome peaceful contact, but be warned. Any hostile action will be met with immediate and overwhelming force." The Empire's bridge crew looked at each other in shock. No species had ever detected them so early or responded with such a clear show of force. Lord Dax felt a bead of sweat roll down his neck as he realized this first contact was completely different from any other. "This is Lord Dax of the Galactic Empire," he responded, trying to maintain his commanding tone. "We come offering membership in our great civilization. Your technology is impressive. The Empire would be pleased to have you join us." Miller's response was calm but firm. "We're aware of your Empire's history of conquest, Lord Dax. We suggest you raid our historical archives before making any decisions. Humanity is not like the other species you've encountered." The human fleet maintained their position, weapons systems ready, but not actively targeting the Empire ship. It was a perfect balance of strength and restraint, demonstrating both their military capability and their diplomatic wisdom. Lord Dax found himself in an unprecedented situation. For the first time in his career, he felt uncertain about how to proceed. These humans were clearly more advanced than initial scans had suggested, and their confidence was unsettling. "We accept your offer to review your historical archives," Dax replied carefully. "Perhaps a diplomatic meeting would be appropriate." "Agreed," Miller responded. "We'll transmit coordinates for a neutral meeting point. And Lord Dax, consider this a friendly warning. Research our history carefully before your empire makes any decisions. You'll find it educational. As the transmission ended, Lord Dax couldn't shake the feeling that he had just encountered something the Empire had never faced before. He didn't know it yet, but humanity was about to change the galaxy forever. The neutral meeting point was an orbital station positioned halfway between Earth's moon and Mars. Its sleek design showcased human engineering, with massive windows offering a stunning view of both worlds. In the main conference room, Admiral Miller stood beside his team of diplomats, waiting for the Empire's representatives to arrive. Lord Dax entered with his advisors, their ornate robes contrasting sharply with the practical uniforms of the human delegation. His confidence had been somewhat restored after reviewing basic Earth transmissions, which showed humans still using fossil fuels and fighting among themselves. "Welcome to Neutral Station 1, Miller said, gesturing to the large conference table. "We've prepared a comprehensive presentation about Earth's history." "Yes, we've reviewed your public broadcasts," Dax replied, taking his seat. "Your species seems quite divided. Surely the Empire could help bring order to your world." Miller's expression remained neutral as he pressed a button on the table. The room darkened, and a holographic display filled the space between them. "What you've seen is only what we allow to be broadcast. Let me show you the real history of humanity." The first images showed World War I, trenches filled with soldiers, chemical weapons drifting across battlefields, the first tanks crushing through barbed wire. Lord Dax's smile faded slightly. "This was over a century ago," Miller explained. "We were already mastering mechanized warfare while fighting ourselves." The display shifted to World War I, massive fleets of aircraft carriers, cities reduced to ash by strategic bombing, and finally, the mushroom clouds over Japan. Lord Dax's advisors whispered among themselves nervously. "We developed atomic weapons while fighting ourselves," Miller continued. "We nearly destroyed our own world several times. But we survived. We adapted. We grew stronger." The images changed to modern warfare, stealth aircraft, precision-guided missiles, cyber attacks shutting down entire nations' infrastructure. "This is what we developed while fighting enemies we could see, who thought like us. Imagine what we've prepared for enemies we've never met." Lord Dax shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "These are impressive historical records, but surely." Miller interrupted by playing footage of human space combat drills. Advanced warships performing maneuvers that the Empire had never seen before, weapons systems that defied conventional physics, and swarms of AI-controlled fighters moving with impossible precision. "For centuries, we've made movies and written stories about alien invasions," Miller explained. "We've spent generations preparing for this moment. Every possible scenario, every potential weakness, has been analyzed and countered." One of Dax's advisors spoke up. "But the Empire has conquered 1,000 worlds. We have technologies you couldn't imagine." Miller nodded to his technical officer, who displayed classified footage of human quantum weapons tests. The images showed entire asteroids being erased from existence, space itself twisting under the force of human weapons. "We're not showing you this to threaten you," Miller said calmly. "We're showing you this to prevent a mistake. Humanity doesn't want war with the Empire. We're willing to trade, to cooperate, to join the galactic community as equals. But we will never submit to conquest." Lord Dax tried to maintain his diplomatic composure, but the evidence before him was undeniable. These humans hadn't just prepared for war. They had mastered it in ways the Empire had never considered. "You don't understand what you're dealing with," Miller continued. "Every human child grows up learning about war. Our entertainment, our games, our stories, they all prepare us for conflict. We've spent more time fighting than your empire has existed." The final images showed Earth's complete defense network. Layers of automated systems, hidden fleets and weapons platforms that had remained undetected by the Empire's scans. The scale of preparation was staggering. "This meeting isn't a negotiation," Miller concluded. It's a warning. If the Empire attempts to conquer Earth, you won't just face our military. You'll face a species that has turned war into an art form. We've spent thousands of years perfecting the science of victory. Don't make us demonstrate it. Lord Dax stood slowly, his earlier arrogance replaced by genuine concern. Your warning is, noted, Admiral. I must consult with the Empire's leadership. As the Empire delegation left the room, one of Miller's diplomats whispered, "Do you think they understood the message, sir?" Miller watched Dax's retreating form and shook his head. They understood the words, but they won't believe it until they see it. And that's exactly what I was trying to prevent. The warning had been delivered. Now it was up to the Empire to heed it, or learn the hard way why humanity had never lost a war to an alien species. 2 weeks after the warning, the Empire made its fatal error. A massive fleet of 500 warships emerged from hyperspace near Mars, their golden hulls forming a wall of apparent invincibility. The Empire's high command had dismissed humanity's warnings as mere posturing from a younger species. Lord Dax stood on his flagship's bridge, now wearing full battle armor instead of his diplomatic robes. "Launch the standard conquest formation," he ordered. "Let's show these humans what real power looks like." In Earth's Orbital Defense Command, Admiral Miller watched the Empire's fleet arrange itself into a perfect wedge formation. His expression remained calm as he picked up his comm unit. "All units, execute Protocol Omega." They've made their choice. The Empire's sensors detected no resistance as their fleet moved forward. Their confidence grew with each passing moment. "See," Lord Dax told his officers. Their warnings were empty threats. They know they can't stand against. His words were cut short as space itself seemed to tear open around his fleet. Hundreds of human vessels emerged from artificial wormholes, their appearance defying the Empire's understanding of physics. They weren't just behind or in front of the Empire fleet. They were above, below, and even inside their formation. "Impossible," shouted the Empire's tactical officer. "They're everywhere." Before the Empire could react, the human ships launched their first attack. Instead of conventional weapons, they fired devices that created localized time distortions. Empire ships found themselves moving in slow motion, while human vessels operated at normal speed. "Our shields are useless against these weapons," reported an Empire technician. "We've never seen anything like this." Miller's voice came through on all channels. "This is your final chance to retreat. We don't want to destroy your fleet." Pride overrode wisdom in Lord Dax's mind. "All ships, open fire. Show them the Empire's might." The Empire's energy weapons lashed out, powerful enough to crack planets. But the human ships seemed to phase in and out of reality, the beams passing harmlessly through their positions. It wasn't cloaking technology. They were actually shifting between dimensional planes. "Launch our fighter squadrons," Dax commanded desperately. Thousands of Empire fighters poured from their carrier ships, filling space with their numbers. The humans responded by activating their AI combat systems. Swarms of autonomous drones, each the size of a coffee cup, emerged from the human ships. They moved in perfect coordination, their collective intelligence far surpassing the Empire's pilots. The drones surrounded Empire fighters in three-dimensional nets of energy, shutting down their systems without destroying them. "My lord," called out Dax's second-in-command, "we're losing ships faster than we can count." Their technology. It's beyond anything in our records. The humans had let the Empire throw the first punch. Now they responded with centuries of carefully developed weapons. Quantum torpedoes phased through Empire shields as if they didn't exist. Gravity weapons crushed Empire cruisers into balls of compressed metal. Computer viruses transmitted through quantum entanglement disabled entire squadrons instantly. "Fall back," Dax ordered, his voice shaking. "All ships, emergency retreat." But retreat wasn't as simple as they expected. The humans had created a temporal barrier around the battlefield. Empire ships trying to enter hyperspace found themselves bouncing back into normal space, trapped in a carefully constructed containment zone. Admiral Miller's voice came through again. "You cannot escape until we allow it. Surrender your fleet, and we will spare your crews." In just 30 minutes of battle, the Empire had lost 200 ships. They hadn't managed to destroy a single human vessel. The most powerful military force in the galaxy found itself completely outmatched by a species they had underestimated. Lord Dax fell into his command chair, his pride shattered. All ships cease fire. Initiate surrender protocols." As the Empire ships powered down their weapons, Admiral Miller gave one final order to his fleet. "Disable their engines, but don't destroy them. Let them live to tell their Empire what happened here." The battle was over almost as quickly as it had begun. The Empire's mighty fleet hung powerless in space, their engines cold, their weapons silent. Human ships began rescue operations for damaged Empire vessels, showing mercy even in victory. In the Empire's capital, news of the defeat would send shockwaves through their civilization. For the first time in their history, they had found a species that didn't just resist conquest. They had made conquest impossible. The Empire had made its mistake. Now they would learn why humanity's warning should have been heeded. The Empire's defeat at Mars had triggered exactly what Admiral Miller had tried to prevent: full human military mobilization. Across Earth, hidden facilities that had waited decades for this moment sprang into action. Orbital shipyards revealed themselves, launching vessels that had been built in secret. The true face of human military power was about to be revealed. "They attacked us first," Miller addressed the United Earth Council. "Now we'll show them why that was a mistake." The massive screen behind him displayed the Empire's border worlds, all carefully mapped by human stealth probes over the last month. In their capital, the Empire's leaders were still reeling from their defeat. "Impossible," shouted High Commander Rex, slamming his fist on the table. "No species has ever defeated an Empire battle fleet." Before anyone could respond, alarms blared throughout the capital city. Human ships appeared in Empire systems across 50 light-years of space, but they didn't attack military targets. Instead, they struck with surgical precision at the Empire's supply lines. Automated factories exploded. Fuel refineries vanished. Transportation hubs went dark. "Sir, we're detecting thousands of small objects entering our defense grid," reported an Empire officer on their most fortified border world. The objects were barely larger than missiles, but each contained a quantum eye more advanced than anything the Empire had developed. These human combat drones operated like electronic wolves, hunting in packs, learning and adapting to every Empire countermeasure. When Empire ships destroyed one, the others immediately updated their tactics. They were evolving faster than the Empire could respond. "Remarkable," observed Dr. Allen from Earth's Strategic Command, watching the battle data. "The Empire fights like they've never faced a real challenge. They have no concept of adaptation. The humans never attacked civilian populations. Instead, they demonstrated a mastery of asymmetric warfare that left the Empire's military leaders baffled. Human ships would appear from nowhere, strike critical targets, and vanish before the Empire could respond. They're using our own expansion against us," realized Lord Dax, now tasked with analyzing the human tactics. "We spread ourselves too thin, never expecting to face an enemy this sophisticated." The Empire tried to concentrate their forces to protect key systems, only to find the humans had predicted this. The moment they moved their fleets, human strike teams would appear in the systems they'd left vulnerable. "We're not just fighting their ships," reported an Empire analyst. "Their AIs have infiltrated our networks. Our own computers are turning against us." The Empire had never developed true AI due to fear of rebellion. Now they faced an enemy that had mastered both biological and digital warfare. Admiral Miller coordinated the campaign from Earth, watching as human forces systematically dismantled the Empire's military infrastructure. "Send in the Phase 3 units," he ordered. Phase 3 turned out to be something straight from the Empire's nightmares. Human ships that could literally traverse dimensions, appearing inside their most heavily fortified bases. Empire soldiers would see ghostly vessels pass through walls as if they weren't there, deploying teams of commandos directly into command centers. "The humans don't fight like warriors," observed an Empire general. "They fight like predators, patient, precise, and absolutely lethal." Within weeks, the Empire's military capacity had been reduced by 60%. They hadn't lost territory. They'd lost the ability to control it. Human forces had destroyed their ability to wage war while barely firing a shot at their actual warships. "Send the message again," Miller ordered. "Same as before. We don't want their territory. We don't want to destroy them. We just want them to understand that conquest is no longer an option." The Empire's response came faster this time. Their high command had seen enough. In less than a month, humanity had done what no species had managed in 10,000 years. They had broken the Empire's ability to wage war. Perhaps, Lord Dax suggested to the Empire Council, we should have listened when they tried to warn us. They didn't want this fight. They just wanted us to understand what would happen if we forced their hand. As human forces held position around critical Empire systems, the message was clear. Humanity hadn't just defeated an empire. They had revolutionized warfare itself. The galaxy would never be the same. The Empire had started this war. Humanity had just shown them how to end it. In the grand archives of the Empire's capital, Lord Dax stood surrounded by holographic displays showing Earth's history. After their military defeats, the Empire had finally decided to do what they should have done from the start: truly understand their opponent. "Play it again," he commanded, watching footage from Earth's World War II. The Empire's best military analysts crowded around, studying the ancient battles with new respect. "Look at this," pointed out General Thex, one of the Empire's most experienced strategists. Even with primitive technology, they were developing tactics we never considered. Their entire history is an endless cycle of warfare and innovation. The displays showed countless battles across Earth's history, from ancient armies clashing with swords to modern forces using stealth technology. Each conflict had taught humanity new lessons, new ways to fight, new ways to win. "They don't just fight wars," observed Dr. Vix, the Empire's chief sinologist. "They study them, analyze them, learn from them." Every human child learns about past battles. Their entertainment is filled with war scenarios. They've been preparing for interstellar conflict since before they left their atmosphere. A junior analyst rushed into the archive chamber, holding a data crystal. "My lords, you need to see this. We've decoded more of their cultural database." The new displays showed science fiction movies, books, and games spanning centuries. Countless stories of humanity facing alien invaders, of Earth fighting against overwhelming odds. The Empire's leaders watched in stunned silence. They've been rehearsing this conflict for generations, Lord Dax realized. Every possible scenario, every potential strategy. They fought it through countless times in their fiction before we ever arrived. The analysis continued, revealing more shocking discoveries. Earth's militaries had maintained secret space fleets long before officially developing space travel. Their public technology level had been deliberately understated. Every human advancement had a military application carefully hidden beneath civilian uses. "Their entire civilization is built around being ready for war," General Thex said, shaking his head in disbelief. "Not because they want it, but because they expected it. They assumed any alien contact would lead to conflict." The displays showed Earth's defense preparations, layers of redundant systems, backup plans for backup plans, and technology specifically designed to counter different types of alien threats. "Look at these dates," Dr. Vix pointed out. They began preparing planetary defenses before they even confirmed alien life existed. Their paranoia made them invincible. Lord Dax walked through the holographic displays, studying the faces of human soldiers throughout history. "We thought they were like all the other species we've encountered. Peaceful, naive, unprepared for real conflict. Instead, we found the most battle-ready species in the galaxy, Finished General Thex, a species that spent its entire history fighting itself, perfecting the art of war, preparing for enemies they hadn't even met yet. New reports arrived hourly as more Empire analysts studied Earth's history. They discovered that humans had developed most of their advanced technology through military research. Their greatest innovations came from preparing for wars that hadn't even happened yet. Their warning wasn't a threat. Lord Dax realized, watching footage of Admiral Miller's original message. They were trying to prevent unnecessary bloodshed. They knew exactly what would happen if we forced them to fight. The Empire's leadership gathered to review the findings. The conclusion was inescapable. They had fundamentally misunderstood humanity from the start. We thought their internal conflicts made them weak, Dr. Vix explained to the Council. Instead, those conflicts forged them into something we've never encountered before, a species that mastered warfare before mastering space travel. As the Empire's leaders digested this revelation, more reports arrived from their frontier worlds. Human forces remained in position, maintaining their strategic advantage, but taking no further aggressive action. They were waiting, giving the Empire time to understand their mistake. We have two choices, Lord Dax addressed the Council. Continue fighting a war we cannot win, against an enemy that has spent millennia preparing for this exact scenario, or, asked the Empire's supreme leader. Or we can do what they suggested from the start, treat them as equals and learn from them. They've mastered aspects of warfare we never even considered. Perhaps it's time for the Empire to learn some new lessons. The Empire had finally realized the truth. They hadn't found just another civilization to conquer. They had found humanity, and nothing would ever be the same. Word spread quickly through the Empire's 1,000 worlds. Their unstoppable military had been defeated not once, but repeatedly, by a single species from a single star system. The implications shook the Empire's society to its core. On the Empire's factory world of Praxis, workers abandoned their posts after learning about Earth's superior manufacturing techniques. Why should we keep building outdated weapons? Their leader shouted. The humans have proven our technology is obsolete. Similar rebellions erupted across dozens of worlds. Centuries of Empire propaganda about their technological superiority crumbled in the face of human achievements. The Empire's rigid social structure began to crack. Lord Dax stood before the Empire Council, his voice echoing through the Grand Chamber. 3 more systems have requested human protection. They've lost faith in our ability to defend them. The Council members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. For 10,000 years, their rule had been absolute. Now, their own citizens were turning to Earth for leadership. Show them, ordered the Supreme Leader. Holographic displays activated, showing human ships protecting Empire merchant vessels from pirates. Unlike Empire warships, which demanded absolute obedience, the human vessels worked alongside local forces, teaching them advanced defense techniques. They're not just defeating us militarily, observed Council Member Rix. They're winning the hearts of our people. Every world they protect becomes an advertisement for their methods. In Earth's orbital command, Admiral Miller reviewed reports from across Empire space. They're starting to understand, he told his staff. This was never about conquest. It was about evolution. The Empire's military leadership, facing the first real challenge in their history, began studying human tactics. They were shocked to discover that humans freely shared basic defense technologies with any world that asked for help. It makes no sense, protested an Empire general. Why would they give away their advantages? Because they don't think like us, Lord Dax explained. They don't seek to dominate. They want to elevate. Every world they help become stronger, and that strength benefits everyone. The turning point came when pirates attacked an Empire colony world. The Empire fleet was hours away, but human ships responded within minutes. The colonists watched in awe as Earth's vessels eliminated the threat with surgical precision, then helped rebuild damaged infrastructure. Request permission to speak, a young Empire officer addressed the Council. I studied the human military doctrine. Their strength isn't just their technology. It's their ability to adapt. They don't fight to conquer. They fight to protect. More Empire worlds began requesting human training for their defense forces. Earth established joint military exercises, showing Empire crews new tactics and technologies. The old barriers of suspicion began to fall. Admiral Miller received an urgent message from the Empire's capital. "They're ready to talk," he told his staff. Real talks this time, not just diplomacy backed by threats. The Empire's supreme leader personally contacted Earth's United Council. "We recognize that the old ways must change," the leader admitted. "Our empire has grown stagnant. Perhaps it's time we learned from those we once sought to conquer." Across Empire space, changes accelerated. Worlds that adopted human methods prospered. Those that clung to the old ways fell behind. The Empire's structure was transforming not through conquest, but through example. "Look at these numbers," Lord Dax showed the Council. "Worlds working with human advisors have seen military effectiveness increase by 300%. Their economies are growing. Their people are innovating." The Empire's ancient prophecies had spoken of a force that would change their civilization forever. They had assumed it would be a devastating enemy. Instead, they found humans, a species that fought not to destroy, but to improve. "Send the message," the Supreme Leader commanded. "Tell Earth we're ready for their terms." Admiral Miller received the Empire's communication with a quiet smile. Sometimes, he told his staff, "the best way to win a war is to turn your enemy into an ally." The Empire was changing. Their 1,000-year reign of conquest was ending not with a final battle, but with a realization that there were better ways to rule. Humanity had done what no other species had managed. They had defeated the Empire by showing them a better path. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what humanity had intended all along. The signing ceremony took place on Neutral Station 1, the same location where Admiral Miller had first tried to warn the Empire. Representatives from Earth and all 1,000 Empire worlds gathered to witness the historic moment. Lord Dax, now serving as the Empire's chief diplomat, stood beside Admiral Miller at the center of the Grand Chamber. Both wore ceremonial uniforms, marking the transition from adversaries to allies. "1 year ago, we stood in this room as enemies," Lord Dax addressed the assembled delegates. "Today, we stand here as partners in humanity's greatest gift to us: change." The treaty's terms were displayed on massive screens throughout the station. Earth would share its defensive technologies and training methods. In return, the Empire would transform from a conquering force into a cooperative alliance of worlds. "Our greatest strength was never our weapons," Admiral Miller spoke to the gathering. "It was our ability to learn, to adapt, and to grow. Today, we share that strength with the galaxy." In orbit around the station, ships from Earth and the Empire conducted joint exercises. Empire crews marveled at human tactical innovations, while humans learned from the Empire's vast experience in space operations. "Watch them," Dr. Vix pointed out to fellow Empire scientists. "Every human ship operates differently, trying new approaches. They never stop experimenting, never stop improving." The changes spread rapidly across Empire space. Former military outposts transformed into joint training centers. Empire worlds began developing their own unique defense strategies, combining human innovation with their local knowledge. "The old Empire is gone," the Supreme Leader announced to all worlds. "In its place, we build something stronger, a coalition of equals, united not by force but by mutual growth." Human cultural influences spread through Empire society. Their art, music, and stories found eager audiences on distant worlds. Empire citizens discovered humanity's endless creativity, their ability to imagine new possibilities. "They've changed us completely," Lord Dax told Admiral Miller during a private moment. "Not through conquest, but through inspiration. You could have destroyed us, but you chose to transform us instead." Miller smiled, watching Earth and Empire ships moving in perfect formation. "That's the difference your people never understood. True strength isn't about destroying your enemies. It's about turning them into friends. The treaty created new opportunities for both civilizations. Earth's innovation combined with the Empire's vast resources led to unprecedented technological advances. New forms of space travel, energy production, and defensive systems emerged from their cooperation. Look at these trade reports, an Empire economist reported to the Council. Worlds that once drained our resources now contribute new ideas, new technologies. Our economy has grown more in 1 year than in the previous century. Education systems throughout the former empire were revolutionized. Young Empire citizens learned Earth's history alongside their own, understanding how constant challenge and adaptation had forged humanity's strength. We thought we were teaching them, a human instructor told her colleagues at a joint academy. But we're learning just as much. Their experience in space operations, their understanding of galactic politics, it's invaluable. As the ceremony concluded, Admiral Miller and Lord Dax stood at the station's main viewport, watching ships from both civilizations moving together through space. "You tried to warn us," Lord Dax said quietly. "That first day, you showed us your history, your capacity for war. We were too proud to listen." Miller nodded. "And now? Now we understand. Your warning wasn't about your weapons or your tactics. It was about your spirit, the human drive to face challenges and emerge stronger." The treaty marked more than peace between Earth and the Empire. It represented a new chapter in galactic history. Other species, watching from afar, began reaching out to both Earth and the reformed Empire, seeking to learn and grow. "The galaxy was stagnant for too long," the Supreme Leader remarked during the final ceremonies. "We needed humanity to shake us awake, to remind us that there is always more to learn, more ways to improve." As the delegates departed for their homeworlds, Admiral Miller made one final entry in Earth's official record. "Today marks not the end of a conflict, but the beginning of an evolution. We came to the stars prepared for war, but found something better. A chance to lift an entire galaxy into a new age." The human warning had been heeded, though not in the way anyone expected. Instead of running from humanity, the galaxy learned to run with them, toward a future brighter than either civilization could have achieved alone.